In this video, we know that NFL free agency is coming up a couple days away. In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 untagged free agents that the Raiders should go after in free agency, coming right up in this video.
Once a Raider, bruh, always a Raider, bruh. Shit simple as that. You look silver and black. Lot of bread invested in that O-line. Car insurance cost an arm and a leg to reach that goal line. It's go time.
What is going on, everybody? What is going on? It is your boy Darian coming to you live with another video. It is the Spotlight Raiders Talk. Shout out to all the subscribers that have subscribed to the YouTube page. If this is your first time ever being at our YouTube page, we would suggest that you subscribe and hit the bell button and get the latest news in all Raiders news. But we're back here with another Raiders video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the untagged free agents that didn't get franchise tagged during the franchise tag period. There was 5 players that I think we should look at, and I think, Just Blog Baby put out the article of the 5 players as well. So let's definitely get into it and see what they had to say about the 5 untagged players that the Raiders should go after in free agency. And the first untagged free agent that we should go after in this free agency coming up in a couple days should be wide receiver Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay is coming off an injury-plagued season with the Detroit Lions, but when healthy, he is among the best receivers in the NFL. The Lions are in the middle of a teardown and rebuild, while they could really certainly use a player of Galladay's caliber. Their respective timelines may not match up, and they may not want to pay him what he's worth at the moment. In 5 games in 2020, Golladay recorded 20 catches for 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, and had 2 excellent seasons in 2018 and 2019 with 135 receptions, 2,253 yards, and 16 touchdowns. He was prolific downfield threat for the Lions and in the mold of Calvin Johnson with a career yards perception at 16.8. Golladay is still 27 years old and has been in the league for only 4 years. There is some concern that his injury problems may come chronic, but signing him to a long-term deal will be very good business for the Raiders. He is expected to receive the deal between $15 and $16 million per year range, which may be a bit rich for the Raiders. But if they are able to bring back Nelson Agholor, they can certainly fit a deal into their plans. I kind of agree with this one here. It's just the injuries that really got me when it comes to Kenny Golladay. The guy, Kim Ball, we did see the stats, 135 receptions, 2,253 yards and 16 touchdowns in his 2018 and his 2019 campaign. If we don't bring Nelson Agholor back, which I think John Gruden wants to bring Nelson Agholor back, I think this is a good step if we don't bring him back. But hypothetically, I think we will bring Nelson Agholor back, but this is one of the players that we definitely should look at and see if we can get him on a cheaper than $15 and $16 million, especially if he wants to win. This person that I really did already talk about in free agency that we should go out and get, in my personal opinion, the next person that we should go look, and I talked about him before in previous videos, is edge rusher / linebacker from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Bud Dupree. Now, Bud Dupree is another player that has been abbreviated from the 2020 season, but unlikely Kenny Galladay's niggling injuries that has been piling up. The Pittsburgh Steelers star has torn his ACL in the 11th game of the season. He was on pace to be one of the sack leaders in the NFL with 8 of the 11 games. But the ACL injury cuts his season short and likely impacted his long-term future as well. Dupree already playing under the franchise tag for the Steelers, but as well his way earning big money deal with a career year before the injury. He is still able to earn as the ACL injury is not a career ending, and it once was back in the day. Maybe concerned would not be ready to start the season since the injury happened later in the season. If teams are not willing to overlook the injury, this could give the Raiders a chance to sign Dupree to a 1-year deal where he can prove that he's fully healthy and can earn a long-term deal with the cap is expected to decrease in 2021. The former Kentucky Wildcat will give the Raiders an edge rusher and a playmaker who they've been looking for after trading Khalil Mack and could pair up nicely with Max Crosby on the other side of the line. I absolutely agree with this one too. Bud Dupree is a good person, and I think he's a good player, even though he did have 8 sacks in 11 games, and his injury was a big concern for me. And I think that if we're going to pay him a 1-year deal, I think that's a bargain deal to prove that he's 100% ready to get back on the football field. But I think this is another guy that actually does play really well in this scheme with Gus Bradley, and we definitely need pass rushers. We need to get to the quarterback this year. So Bud Dupree would definitely be one of them for the Las Vegas Raiders. And the third player that the Raiders should look at for the untagged free agency is defensive end from the New Orleans Saints, Trey Hendrickson. Now, Trey Hendrickson finally got a chance to start for the New Orleans Saints in 2020, and he exploded on the scene with one of the best performances by a defensive end in the league. After starting 3 games in 3 years, Hendrickson started 15 games in 2020 and stepped up with 13.5 sacks, 33 pressures, and 25 QB hits, and 12 tackles for loss. Hendrickson played a tremendous motor and was a fearsome counterpart to Cam Jordan on a very talented defensive line. The Raiders saw it firsthand in week 2 as Hendrickson recorded a sack and 2 tackles for loss, despite just 58% of the defensive snaps in that game. Hendrickson featured in just 53% of the team defensive snaps, but still led the team in sacks and tackles for loss. We will see what Hendrickson's market will be after just one good season and could be a good fit for the Las Vegas Raiders. I have to agree. I like this move with Trey Hendrickson. He's very underrated. He did have a good year when he did start all the games this past year for the New Orleans Saints. Like he said, he had 12 tackles for loss, 25 QB hits, 33 pressures. The guy had 13.5 sacks. Why not go out and get this guy that help out Max Crosby or Cleveland Farrell on the defensive side of the ball? That's been our problem all year, is getting to the quarterback. So Bud Dupree, I do like Bud Dupree. I do like him, but I think Hendrickson is going to be a little bit more cheaper if we can't get Bud Dupree on a 1-year deal. But I do like Trey Hendrickson here. Very underrated free agent. They should have tagged him. I think the Raiders should go out and get him. Well, everybody know this player that is actually I'm going to go after right now. And this is the 4th player that was untagged from the Los Angeles Rams, and that is safety John Johnson III. Now, the Los Angeles Rams had some tough decisions to make this offseason to get back under the salary cap after some big spending in recent years, and one of the casualties was not being able to bring back safety John Johnson. He was one of the key members of the dominant defense unit for the Rams, but has several young safeties that they hope they could fill the shoes next season, so they declined to tag him. This opened up the door for the Raiders to swoop and sign the player that's still just 25 years old, but has been a starter in the NFL for 4 years now. After the injury plague in 2019, Johnson came back strong in 2020 with 105 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 8 pass breakups, no touchdowns allowed according to Pro Football Reference. According to Pro Football Focus, he does receive an overall grade of 85.6 and is the 3rd best in his position group. That marks him over 80 in both run defense and pass coverage. Former 3rd round pick is a versatile player that was equally adept in coverage as he is in the box, and will provide the Raiders with a foundational piece in the defensive secondary. I have to agree with this one too. John Johnson is predicted to earn over $13 million per year out there on the free agent market, and I think $13 million a year, why not go get a guy like John Johnson? Well, like I said, he's 85.6 overall on Pro Football Focus, and he had 105 tackles, in 2020 after coming back off a 2019 season. You can't be wrong with this one. I really like John Johnson. I think he's the top target that we should get in the safety position to go across with Jonathan Abram. In my opinion, Jonathan Abram is the guy that he definitely needs that veteranship when it comes to the safety position, and I think John Johnson is the great fit for us. So yeah, Raider Nation, I know y'all been talking about John Johnson, and I was able to get to him, but John Johnson is one of the guys that I think we should be a priority going into free agency. And the number 5 player, the number 5th player that we have on the untagged free agents that the Raiders should go after is Detroit Lions Romeo Okwara. Similar to Trey Hendrickson, Romeo Okwara has a big 2020 season after being primarily a rotational player in his 5 years so far. Unlike Hendrickson, however, Okwara had another good season under his belt and started 14 games for the Detroit Lions in 2018 and recorded 7.5 sacks and 8 tackles for loss. 2020 was a true coming out party. However, as Okwara played in all 16 games, he had the highest snap count of his career and came through with 10 sacks, 18 QB hits, 3 forced fumbles, 11 tackles for loss for the Lions. As mentioned, it was not the first time that he had a productive season, but was the first time he entered a conversation as one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. The Raiders would do well to target him, as well as a related track record of success, but just also 25 years old and can be an impact player for several years. There are already reports that the Raiders are being interested in Okwara, but the same has been said for any good pass rusher on the open market after recent struggles. Now, it's going to be hard to try to go get Romeo Okwara, and the reason why I say that, because it looks like he's going to drop to like $18 million or less because of his age and of his productivity. But if the Raiders could get a smaller deal to $18 million or less, or get him in for a deal that's going to be manageable for the Raiders, why not go out and get this guy? This guy has been very effective for the Detroit Lions. He was just on a bad football team. Why not go out? If we can't get Trey Hendrickson, we could go out and get him, because he's still a defensive end as well, and help out with Max Crosby and Cleveland Farrell and those boys on our defensive line. Like I said before, we definitely got to get to the quarterback this year. If we don't get to the quarterback, it is unsuccessful defense for Gus Bradley in this defense. That's why we need to go look at these 5 players coming in to free agency. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. There are the 5 people that the Raiders should go after in free agency. That's definitely untagged. Shout out to Just Blog Baby for the article. If you want to check out the article, the link is in the description. You can read the full article there. But I really do like these 5 players. Out of the 5 players, the only one I'm not really big on is Bud Dupree, but the other 4, I'm really big on them if we could get at least 1 or 2 of these players out of these 5 players. But let us know what you think, Raider Nation. Let us know what you think. Make sure you put the comments below. We really appreciate everybody being a part of the Spotlight Raiders Talk, and thank y'all for holding me down as long as y'all could, man. I'm happy to be back and making videos for y'all. Comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. It's the Spotlight Raiders Talk, and we'll see you on the next live stream or in the next video. Peace.
Once a Raider, bruh, always a Raider, bruh. Shit simple as that. You look silver and black. Lot of bread invested in that O-line. Car insurance cost the arm and the leg to reach that goal line. It's go time.